Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. Lynn wanted to recreate this with her own photo. So what we're starting with is her photo here. These are different projects all up on their own tab. So we're starting with Lynn here, and then we got us a purple background. We got us a background of the beach, and then we got some handwriting, which all of these I found just online, just doing a Google searches. So basically, let's go back to this and bring in each piece at a time. Let's go to the purple here and drag that into this project, and then I'll just drag it down here and let go of the left mouse button, and that brings in the purple background. You can do Google searches and find different color backgrounds, and you can adjust the hue and make them match to exactly whatever you want. So this is kind of close to this. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next one, which is going to be the beach scene. So let's go ahead and grab that and take that into the same photo, and you can see it's a little bit smaller, but it's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and just place it on top of here, kind of close to it, and I'm going to drag it a little bit bigger, and until it almost matches. That's pretty darn close. Now this scene here, obviously you could see in this photo there's a beach in the background, there's water here, there's some trees over here, there's a sun over here, so it's really subtle. So let's go ahead and make this one just as subtle. I think this would be good about, so I changed the opacity here to 15%. That looks pretty good. You can just barely see that there's a beach. And next, let's jump into the handwriting. You can see this handwriting here. Let's go ahead and grab this. I preset this using the magic tool so I could separate the handwriting from the background. So what I'm going to do is grab the handwriting and take that into my current project, bring it over here and let it go. And now I'm going to lock the others because I like where they're at. I don't want to change anything else, and I'm going to grab my handwriting and just place it over here exactly where we want it, and that's pretty darn close, but I don't like it at 100%. I'm going to take the opacity and go ahead and bring it down just manually. Let's say 40%. That looks pretty good. Not too bad. And then we can just do some erasing if you want later on. Let's go ahead and grab Lynn. Now with Lynn, see how this has got purple hair? Lynn doesn't have the purple hair, so maybe we can kind of fake that. First, I'm going to go ahead and cut her out of the background. I don't have to be so careful with it because this is kind of a montage, dreamy scene. So I'm going to use a 15-point eraser, soft eraser. I can use a much larger 40 points. And I'm just erasing her right out of the background. And because it's kind of a soft brush, it'll give us that kind of a dreamy feeling that we're looking for. And if there's little portions like here that I want to fix, I could just like cut right into the photo. And I don't have to worry about these straggly hairs. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of this out right around here. And now that we have all that cut out, I'm going to go ahead and grab the polygon tool and get rid of all that extra stuff by cutting around everything and then in between where I erased before. And this will give us a nice dreamy cutout of Lynn. When I get to the end here, I'm going to double click to close the polygon line, give us the little marching ants. I'll hit delete and everything else is gone. Now, let's go ahead and drag that into the current project, which is going to be this one here. Boom. And there we go. Now, if she's kind of cut off on the edges, that's not that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down a little bit. I can enlarge her sort of like this. I'm going to take the square tool, make sure I choose her layer, and just match this up at the bottom. And boom, gets rid of everything beyond the photo. Now, how do we do the purple hair? Well, let's try doubling up on the photo. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the photo. And from the duplicate version, I'm going to go to Enhance, Color, Hue, Saturation. Now watch her. I'm going to change the saturation of the whole photo, and that includes the hair. So we can pick whatever we want. Since her hair is kind of lighter color, it's not going to be quite purple, but I can pick something like that around there. That looks pretty nice. And I'll hit OK. Now, to get rid of the actual purple on her skin, you just take an eraser, and since we have that top layer and the bottom layer is still there, let's make the eraser nice and big, like 200 point or so. And all we got to do is erase the top version, which leaves us the bottom version. And I'm just going to take her face and her neck out so that everything else still has kind of that purple hue. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Grab a smaller eraser, like a 75 point, to get the edges down here. And it doesn't have to be perfect because all of this is kind of abstract. So this is the beginning of what we're looking for. I think it's looking pretty good. You could do little things like I can take the layer of the letters and I can do a filter blur, Gaussian blur, and watch what happens. See that at about 2%. See, we like that. It's a little less readable, so it doesn't have to be really, really sharp. And that's looking pretty good. And now we can add a little bit of a drop shadow like this one has. I'll pick her background layer and I will right click on it and I'll hit edit style layer. You'll see here, let's make this at about, I don't know, 125% or so, drop shadow, and let's make the opacity really heavy. You can see what's happening here. The distance right around there, and make it really big so that it really comes out of all of the different edges. To match this one over here, it's very subtle, so I can bring this opacity down, and you can see how it's changing. So I'm just going to bring it right around 75%. And that's looking pretty good. And now you can add more flowers and birds and all kinds of little trinkets if you like, and you just keep on going until your heart's desire. Once you're done, you grab the cropping tool. We'll come in a little bit, come like this, and crop the whole photo, and there you go. Well, this is it for this tutorial. This is Rich calling it quits, saying over and out.